pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show that all board members and superintendent are present. We have no student rep yet. Mrs. Sebo, would you start out?
I will. It's summer, so it's still pretty quiet. Athletic seasons are starting this month. Football started today. I don't know if most of you are aware, but the season's bumped up a little bit due to some scheduling conflicts for state tournaments. Everybody else starts next week. Senior high schedules, we're hoping to send those out at the end of this week so that students can come in and make schedule changes if they need to before the year. So we're putting the final touches on everything.
Mr. Hayek.
Schedules are pretty much done. I'm trying to even out a few numbers here and there, but they look pretty good. Starting to get some calls already from parents on new students, a few of them here and there, and also on requesting teacher changes and that sort of thing already. So building's being cleaned and is almost ready to go. And some of our grade school teachers have started to come in already.
Wow, thank you. Visitor input. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board on a matter that is not on the agenda? We will go on to 6.0, agenda changes and deletions.
We have a couple. 9.3 will approve 2015-2016 administrative structure as discussed at the prior committee meeting. We can eliminate 10.9. The proposal that I originally got from ASME that we were going to discuss tonight, they pulled out. They're working that, so I don't have anything to share with you tonight. And I guess I would propose that we table 10.10, that's the ADAPT contract, that we look into that a little bit further before we go ahead and sign it.
Okay. 7.0, approve the agenda.
So move.
Young and 40. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 8.0 is the consent agenda, which consists of approving the minutes of the regular meeting on Monday, July 20, approving the treasurer's report for the month of July, and the first check writing in August, and approving just a handful of extracurricular appointments.
Also move we approve the treasurer's, the regular meeting of Monday, July 20th on the consent agenda.
I'll support.
Gentilini and Shanlob. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 9.0 personnel. 9.1 approve 1.0 FTE special ed teaching appointment of Rebecca Diedrich.
This is a replacement position in the high school for the individual that resigned earlier this spring.
I'll move. Support.
Young and Shanlob. Any further discussion?
Background checks have all been taken care of.
Yes.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 9.2 approve school readiness teaching assignment of Crystal Nusich Dusler.
I'll move.
Support.
Peterson and Gentilini. Any further discussion?
The only thing I'll add is 32 hours. Is that full time with that? Okay. That's all.
Yeah, this is a recall. I just wanted to make sure we had enough kids, and we do. So
I just didn't know if that was going to go to 40 this year or not, with the Friday or not.
no, they were about 34, 35 last year at a 4-day week. So. Excuse me, 20. Sorry, my math is a little off.
I was wondering if I should
Sorry.
question you or not. All right, that's fine.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 9.3,
Bonus to do it once in a while.
administration structure. Who wants to try and make sense of this now and clarify it?
I'll make a motion that we go with scenario number 3, which states we have 1 superintendent, 2 full-time principals. The superintendent will be at the Franklin at this time on a trial basis, which will be revisited later. And he'll be serving as a principal with an assumed $10,000 stipend for the extra duties. And this will be all revisited throughout the year. How's that sound?
I will second.
Young
Did you get
and
that, Cass?
40.
I wanna
can
make
pretty
sure-
much take it off
I
of-
want to make sure that you got it. Okay. You have everything down in there?
Do you really want everything in there, including salary, or is that going to be
Nope.
something that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be in there.
I'll take it off your.
Okay, you can have this.
I've got an extra.
That's
Okay.
I got it written down here too.
Is there any further discussion on this matter? And does everyone know what we're voting for? Is that clear? All right.
I would just like to add that, I mean, this isn't the best case scenario, we all understand that. And I really hope that we just make it work and see it through and adjust as accordingly and not just turn a blind eye if it's not working.
Thank you. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 10.0 new business. 10.1 approve the 2015-2017 payroll finance clerk contract.
This is the contract that we went through the last meeting. No changes.
I'll move.
Support.
Peterson and Shanlob. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 10.2, approve 10-year long-term facility maintenance revenue application.
I'm going to tag team this one with Andrea. How about that? Okay. I guess if you could just explain what it is and why we have to do it now, and I'll do the numbers.
Excuse me, Andrea, could you come to the podium so everyone can hear you?
The Minnesota Department of Education changed their revenue structure for the long-term, or deferred maintenance and for health and safety. So now they're requiring us to complete a 10-year plan. They really wanted us to work on fiscal year 17, 18, and 19, but we needed to complete all 10 years. So that is what you see in front of you. And they changed how they are doing this. It's based on our weighted pupil units. So I put an approximation in there for the weighted pupil units, but this is a change of how they used to give us the revenue. We do still have a 50% split between with the levy and how the revenue was done before. So, but that's how they did it. It's a new requirement for this year.
And just for clarification, this is a living document, so we can change it.
change
They
it.
just expect us to have somewhere to start.
Yes, we have to start with this, and then it can be made changes throughout. And I have to submit it to the state, though.
This is what we
After
used to
your
call the
approval.
old health and safety.
Yes. Yep.
Well, it's health and safety combined with the deferred maintenance
With
now.
deferred maintenance, it's
Yeah.
all, they put it all under one umbrella this time.
Superintendent Carey, was there anything you needed to add to that?
I just would like to add that if you look at the totals on the bottoms of each year, you'll see the first couple of years I have more in projects there than we're actually getting funding for, which is fine, because we have to show that we have a need. But a lot of things, like I put roof systems in, I'm basically, when you're looking out 10 years, I'm basically guessing, what's our rotation going to be, what is it even going to look like, and this is 2 years from now. Granted, this 2017 is the first year we're looking at here. A lot of the basic things like carpeting and stuff. I just try to guess as to how much that we're going to need. So I mean, when it comes right down to 2017, we'll prioritize and get it to where it needs to be. But I just wanted to include everything, so it's all on the table at this point.
Where is the total year by year?
Right on, if you look at the first page on the
Very bottom.
bottom row,
Okay. And then the following question is, why does it decline so much?
that's, well, they really wanted us to concentrate on the first 3 years, and
Okay.
just, so that everything you see past that, I mean, we're basically just doing things that we know. We know that we spend about $5,000 a year in paint. We know we spend that $7,500 in asbestos removal, you know, stuff like that, that we just put in basic things. But as we get closer to those dates, it'll be more actual. I mean,
So we are not locked into
We're not locked in.
164 in 2022?
we're not locked into this right now,
Okay.
no. If I had a viable explanation as to why they're making us do this, I would give it to you, but
This is legislative action.
This is legislative
Right, so
action.
We're mandatory to
Yep.
comply with it.
correct. So, there you go. Thanks, Andrea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I will move that we approve the 10-year long-term facility maintenance revenue application.
Support.
Putzel and Gentilini, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 10.3, accept the quote for locker painting in the high school.
This is one of the things we went through at Buildings Grounds last week, but just to reiterate, the quote that you have in front of you, the $34,000, it's higher than my initial estimate. I had budgeted $20,000 for that, but that was, we initially were thinking that we were just going to paint the outsides, but upon further thinking, being that they are green, and if we go with that darker color, it's not going to look so hot when they open their lockers. So the added expense to that is doing the inside and out of the lockers. And we came in way under on what we spent on carpet, so that was kind of where I'm coming from, is why I'm asking for this at this point.
When will this be done?
They said 8 days, so if we tell them tomorrow, they can, I think they'll get going, right?
I will notify them tomorrow.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't remember the number of calendar days on this particular quote.
I think it was, they said they'd get it done in 8 days. And they would work on weekends and that too, so.
Yeah, we've informed them as such that obviously this is something that have to take place around that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll move on the quote for the locker painting of $34,390.51.
I'll support. Oops,
Oh, go ahead.
40.
It says
Young and
approximately
40.
12 days' work on the bottom there, right? As long as they're done before school starts. Otherwise, we're going to have little fingerprints all over the school.
I think that's a fair assumption.
Might look good.
All right, Young and 40 on the motion. Any further discussion?
Is there any other quotes, Jeff, other than this one that you received on painting
I don't
of the
believe we got
locker?
any others, do we, Ryan?
We had one other for lockers, that was
We did get one more. I don't know that I saw that one.
Swanson, Youngdale, and then Ally.
Okay. They were quite a bit higher? Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 10.4, accept the quote for additional classroom carpet project.
These are, we had a couple rooms in the Franklin, they're both kindergarten rooms, I believe it's 116 and 108, that are just pretty tough shape, you know, with a broadloom carpet, when you try shampooing it, it just keeps coming up, and it's not in good shape right now. So as long as we have it, I'd like to get this done. The unfortunate thing is the carpet that we're going with, it's going to be kind of tight before school starts, but they promised me that they would get it in before the kids are here, so.
I'll move.
I'll support.
Peterson and Shanlop. Any further discussion?
Will they be airing out the room also before the kids get there?
That's standard procedure.
Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 10.5, approve the change order for the Franklin security doors.
All right, so when we started the big window project 2 years ago, the Franklin security doors were part of that project. We just have not it hasn't worked out. I mean, there's code problems there with the length of the hallway that the doors are on and this, that, and the other thing. Well, our architect did get approval for us to flip those doors around so that we can have a strike entrance, electronic entrance to go through them now, where we didn't have that before. So the change here that you're looking at is just that. We're moving the doors around, putting the strike on, whereas we weren't doing that before. I mean, you can probably elaborate better on that.
No, I think Jeff summed it up very well. As you know, I've been in front of you before to discuss this issue, and the previous solution was acceptable as per the current code and involved multiple magnetic locks, card swipes from both sides to keep those doors swinging in the direction they were installed. I was asked by this board to go back to the code officials and see if we could get an exception or talk it through and see if there was a chance they would change their mind. Lo and behold, they did. So we have the approval to go ahead and reverse the swing of those doors. Put on one card swipe. There's the Panic hardware on the Franklin side of that corridor. That'll let anybody out, of course, in the case of a fire, but it would prevent people from coming in without
Going through the
going
office.
through the office.
Yeah.
So it has taken a while to get to this point, but now we know what it's worth. We have approval for it, and so that's what's before you.
And this is part of the IRRB project.
Okay, isn't this back to what we were when we first put these in?
Yep.
Because of the fire marshal and the
Yes.
fire code changes?
You've come full circle.
Yeah. And how much does it cost us meanwhile to change
And
them?
like I said, the indecision or the changing of the fire marshal's mind, it costs dollars.
Is this gonna finalize that project finally? Is this the last step?
That's it.
My only question is, we're getting the hardware from the one company, and we have another contractor installing it. Could the Northern Door and Hardware install the whole thing, as long as they're supplying all the materials, right? Is there a cost figure that you come up with?
They are doing the hardware work themselves, installing the work that they're supplying. From my understanding, it's the actual the finish work on those doors, removing them, reinstalling them. It's being split, as you can see, between the general contractor's work and Northern Door Hardware. There are certain items that are carpentry, and certain items that are for the door hardware supplier. So there's a division there.
So the labor for the $2,770 is shared between Lindsay and Northern Door and Hardware then, the labor part?
The 2000. Let me look at the backup here before I speak too soon. Well, what you see there, I take that back. No, the door hardware is being supplied only by Northern Door and Hardware. You're right, and the labor is being done completely by Lindsay, with the exception of the electrical work there. So we could certainly ask if that's the case, but I don't know if there'd be any savings there. You know, you're going to have one contractor do it versus another.
Well, that's my one question. Why Northern Door had they're supplying the materials, they have the expertise to do the whole job without involving another contractor. That's my question.
Sure. I think it's a horse piece. I think they could really both do the work for the type of work we're talking about here.
I think one of the biggest problems is the initial work was, we granted that to Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they are a general contractor, so they would, if they're gonna sub it out, that would be on they would make that decision.
Their time.
Kind of what we discussed in committee was that this is not really a contract, this is a change order, that initial project, and it's through Lindsay still.
You're correct.
Okay.
Was this going to be done before school? That was a question that was asked and didn't have an answer.
I impressed upon them that it needed to be. Yes, we have. They have put through shop drawings with that. I'll say at risk. They've done that already to get the ball rolling, knowing that that's the deadline.
Okay.
And we turn those around in our office the same day. So.
We have a motion?
Nope.
Oh, motion to approve the change order. And you know how much I like change orders.
Yeah.
I'll support.
Young and Shanlab. Any further discussion?
I'd just like to add to Keith, this is the last one though, right?
Yes, it's the last one on this project.
To this
On this project, right?
So we're on the end of this one, right?
The whole thing is, we tried to do this when we initially did that
Yeah.
project, and they told us we couldn't do this. And that's been how many years now?
3, 4?
Yeah, at least, yeah.
And the RFP itself shows this is not a change order.
Oh.
So,
Not until you make the action today.
all right. Those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Thanks, Ryan.
10.6, discussion on the consent agenda. This is at my request. When we initially put that in place, it was to save time. I don't know that it's substantial enough to warrant continuing with it. I hear from folks all the time with questions about why we, and their word, quote, hide things in the consent agenda. Of particular concern to a number of folks are the extracurricular appointments that go through there, the sports coaches and a number of those things. So I just wanted to bring it to the table and see if there's any interest. I would personally be interested in doing away with it. I don't think we're saving any time.
If I may.
Yes?
If we did go do away with it and we still had a line item that says approve extracurricular appointments, are we gonna go through every one of them step by step anyway?
No,
But
I don't.
I mean, just for the ones that say we're trying to hide
Yeah,
something in there, I mean,
right.
it's no public neither way, it's still public.
All they have to do
all
is
one and
look
the
at
same,
'em.
right?
Right,
Right.
right.
But no, I mean, I agree, it's pretty much always the 2 or 3 of the same items, and they
Right.
could just be in a course of business.
Yeah.
I mean,
And in the past, what we had was additional items to approve the minutes or the treasurer's report, so.
I was never a fan of the consent agenda to begin with, so I'd be happy that we're going back to the old way.
Well, I will make a motion that we do away with the consent agenda.
I will second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Only that it was put in there just to try to streamline things.
Yes, yes,
That's all it was.
yeah.
And if people think we're hiding things, all they have to do is look at the minutes of the meeting.
I
They're
don't
posted.
disagree with you, but it's for discussion
But
only.
that's, hey, we're flexible, we can take care of it.
No, it's our responsibility to keep the community informed of everything that's going on. Not that we're trying to bury something or something.
And then we can go back to Leon having to actually give a treasurer's report.
Do I have to?
Absolutely.
Yes, now
Oh,
you do.
jeez.
Here's
Depends
some,
on the vote.
here's some numbers. Oh, that's right.
Yes.
I gotta learn my numbers now.
That's right.
Andrea?
All those in favor of doing away with the consent agenda?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Yes, just to be different.
You lost, Keith.
You lose again.
That's okay.
Please note, Keith is being difficult. Okay.
Back to normal.
Motion carried. 10.7, discussion on extracurricular transportation.
Well, we had a Transportation Committee meeting last week on Wednesday, and we talked about a number of things, and for those of you not in the know, Linda Brown, actually Brown Transportation told us that they would not be doing extracurricular bus runs any longer as of September 1st, so the topic of that conversation was what are we going to do to fill that void. I did put an ad in the paper looking for casual bus drivers and casual custodians. And this past Sunday, you might have noticed, we put together an RFP for someone to bid on extracurricular transportation contract, being contracted on it. So, but in the meantime, we're trying to figure out how we're going to fill that void. We did have a couple people apply with a bus driver's license. So I think overall, and I don't even know that we need a motion here. This is more informational than anything. I think what we'll end up doing is kind of a hybrid. I mean, we're going to have to lean on our people to get the kids where they need to go. We do have some extra help that applied. We can use them as well, and hopefully make it work. I mean, it's a lot of running at night. It really is. And I know that our guys have come through, but they have to realize that there's a lot of work to be done that I don't know if they're gonna get all that done, so that's why we're gonna, when available, we'll put in some extra people too.
Did we get interest on both postings of the casual side, or just more of the bus driver?
Yeah, I have two. Well, we did have one custodian. Yeah,
So, maybe.
But the thing is with the custodian though, we need a few of those anyway because we have people that are sick and vacation and stuff like that
Oh,
fill
yeah.
in, so I mean,
That was part of the committee thing, is that, I mean, in a perfect world it could work, but we don't live in a perfect world,
Yeah.
and we need help, right?
right. So we will proceed that way, and we'll be, I would say at least monthly, one of our, every other board meeting. I mean, I'll give a report on how that's going and if we need to adjust it. Because if it's complete chaos, I mean, we'll have to try to think of plan B. Fortunately, fall is not too bad, so it'll be a good place to start.
Thank you.
On our cost between using our drivers is overtime, Jeff, and at $2.15 a mile, you know, we've been paying for a contract out. Does that, I looked at the miles, and I just multiplied the miles times the amounts there. The one was, I don't know, 17,000, I don't want to come up with 14. There's only about $2,000 or $3,000 difference.
Okay.
You know, not figuring the bus depreciation, because the buses are going to depreciate whether we run them or not, you know. Sitting in a garage or not, they're going to depreciate. So on the depreciation part, is that being, you know, put into total amount?
Depreciation's a very tough
Yeah,
equation
yeah.
because really it's going to depend on how that bus is being driven. I mean, if it's on the back roads going down dirt roads all the time, that bus don't last too long. But if it's running down highways, so I mean the depreciation is very uneven. It's very tough to calculate too. So I don't even
Depreciation.
know how to tell you.
Depreciation's kind of counting. We're talking cash.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh,
big
yeah, 'cause-
difference too, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we know it's going to be more
Yeah.
expensive. I mean, and that's,
Yeah.
no matter how we look at it.
So that's what we'll start out doing that.
Yeah.
And
Well, we're looking at the semester anyway,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
then we can always adjust from there.
That's
as
what we're
we-
gonna do.
As we progress, yeah.
Okay, thank you. 10.8, discussion on the manual arts. This actually has morphed a little bit, and we need to set a meeting date and time for a committee of the whole to get some additional information on this before we bring it back to a board meeting.
Are we going to do that right now? Maybe.
Yeah, if we can.
What you looking at next week?
Next week.
Too soon? Not soon enough?
I don't have anything available next week. You're welcome to meet without me, but I can't make it.
What about
I can do 25 or 26.
25 or 26? $25?
25 is better for me.
What day is
Tuesday.
I don't have a
Tuesday.
calendar.
Tuesday.
This is today.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I'm just trying to think if I
Yep.
got anything going on. Yeah, make it for the 25th, that's fine.
25?
Yep. Fine.
25th it
You
is.
too?
I'm okay.
Okay.
And what time?
5? No?
5:30?
5:30, please. I get less speeding tickets that way.
You just dump a shift.
I dumped today to come in.
No, the whole shift.
No, I'm not going to do that.
5:30 on the 25th?
Yeah.
She agrees.
Yes.
That's right.
At least
Nice
somebody.
to have a consensus. All right. So we will revisit this after the committee has met and we're all better versed on the issue. All right. And then 10.9 and 10.10 are on, well, 10.9 has been removed from the table. We don't have the information. And 10.10 we need to table. Do we need a motion for that?
Yes.
We do. don't
Motion
we?
to approve, yep.
To table. I'll move.
Motion to table, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The reason I'm requesting that is I think in light of what we talked about at the committee meeting, I think it warrants some discussion and
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
investigation.
All right. Well, I'll move that we table this.
Okay, I'll second it.
Thank you.
Seeing as how I made the motion already.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We'll swap it.
No,
It's
no.
Young and Putzel.
No, it's not. It's all taken care of.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Young's motion carries. 11.0 committee reports. 11.1 buildings and grounds.
See as how I wasn't there very long. I'll have to rely on somebody else.
I was gonna say, you made me take notes. Do you want me to try to read it?
Sure.
Basically, most of it was just talking about the project that we discussed with the security doors, that's trying to come to a finale. Couple windows in the Franklin that, I guess, were broken. We're trying to figure out who's gonna fix them, us or them. And then we talked about the facilities, which was an ongoing conversation that basically there were, I mean, it was just the architect asked what we were looking for, and we said everything's on the table in a nutshell. I mean, from revitalizing, remodeling space, to adding space, taking old space off, to new space, to space, to space. It was all a space conversation, and nothing was untouchable. And let's go forward and get more input from the stakeholders. I believe the next phase was faculty and staff or something.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll revisit the rest of that conversation after that. I think that was in a nutshell, if I missed anything.
That covers it. Thank you. 12.0 superintendent's report.
A couple things.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
A couple things. If you haven't had a chance, you should walk around our buildings. I mean, we did some pretty intensive cleaning this summer. Even if you just go out in this hall, I mean, we had them completely stripped and buffed out and redone. We did the Franklin first floor and the first flight of steps. The gym right now is being repainted. That was completely stripped and sanded out. They did a very nice job with that part of it. We'll see how he comes out with the paint. He says he's going to be ready to play on next Tuesday, which is a day later than Liz was hoping for, but we're trying here. There's some hang-ups with some of the templates, so that's going really well. The carpeting is almost all done. The hallway they're just putting some finishing touches on it. It yells out with Gilbert at you if you haven't been up there. A couple new classrooms. The auditorium is almost done now. But the guys have been working really hard. I mean, they've put in some pretty hard days getting this place to where it needs to be. So I'd like to thank all of them for that. Again, as far as the projects that are going on, we just have that door left, and we're trying to resolve some broken windows, and there's just some little knick-knack things like we have up at the Franklin. We had the window shades installed, and then the painter came in and got some paint on some of them. So there's just some little issues like that we're trying to resolve. Who's going to fix that and whatnot. But it is wrapping up now, and so that's a good thing. Well, anyway, that's all I have.
All right. The carpet that you mentioned in the auditorium, is that the same that they put in the link? The same carpet?
No, it's a lot tamer.
Okay. Well, I don't want it competing with our folks who might come and do something theatrical.
Nope.
It's a bit much. Board member topics. Mr. Chad.
I got nothing.
Mr. Shanlon.
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Forty.
Nothing?
Mr. Young.
Not at this time.
All right.
I could do
Peterson?
some more
I'm
research.
good.
Mr. Gentilini.
Oh, okay, see that, our meeting's on the 24th, we're gonna have the committee meeting on the 25th. Is there any reason that we could not have that meeting taped to keep the community up to speed on inform them, what we're gonna be discussing at the meeting? Instead of, bring it in
committee meeting?
September. Yeah, just to,
It'll all come up at our regular board meeting.
Okay, but it'll just be what the committee decides then, Mona?
No, we'll have that discussion. We just can't have a discussion because we don't know anything about it. So we'll have the
yeah,
full discussion
yeah.
at that meeting following that.
Okay, so we'll bring up all the points then?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that's my only question. So
Yep.
just to keep the community
Yep,
up to
we'll have the
speed
full
on-
presentation at
Right,
that time.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I just have two quick things. Number one, we had gone back and forth over the last several years asking for no pets or no animal signs on our property, which would also give the police department some teeth to actually do something for us. We've got a lot of folks who exercise their animals on the property, and I understand those signs were finally ordered and they should be in place.
Brad took care of that.
And the only other item I have is drones. We've got football starting again, and I know last year we had at least one up at the stadium. And with those being such a big deal, I did look into it, and the guidelines for a drone or other unmanned aircraft, which that's actually considered, prohibits them being in stadiums or around people, that type of thing. So I don't know how we prevent it, but if there's someone who flies a drone over that stadium, I think we need to try and find out who that is and prevent it from happening. They don't belong on school property. And the biggest issue is that you can't fly them within 5 miles of an airport. And as the crow flies, which is what they use, we would be within 5 miles of the Evelyn Airport. So they'd be in violation anyway. So doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Football coverage.
There's other options. I don't want that drone over our stadium.
I was gonna ask if we sanctioned it, if it was okay, but I guess not.
No. No. It violates all kinds of things, so I just don't think it's unnecessary.
Actually, Mona, if it's not flown during the game, we just do it at this, while they're warming up, just to get a establishment shot, that's all we get.
Right, but it's prohibited at stadiums or where there's people, and I'd like to see it eliminated.
Along those lines, I believe the high school league has asked schools not to use drones
Yes.
to film their practices.
Yes.
It's just a request. It's not a requirement at this point, but I seem to remember reading where they have asked that school districts not use drones.
And the MSBA does not currently have a policy, a sample policy in place. They are working on one. It's in the draft stage, so there is nothing prepared that we can use as an example for preparing that. But they're aware that it's an issue. So, does anyone else have anything? All right. We are adjourned. We'll call that a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Don't need a motion to adjourn.